As well as knowing your horse, you must also know your jockey. The best jockeys ride their mounts with great vigour, use the whip to maximum effect and maintain a perfect balance. They also have flair, imagination and an abundance of natural talent. Such a jockey is Shane Dye. Let's see him in action. This is the 91 Diners Club Cup at Rose Hill. The horse to watch is From the Planet, ridden by Shane Dye in the blue and yellow. He's well back on the turn, hemmed in near the rail, blocked for a run. In a split-second decision, Shane takes a needle-eye opening and snatches victory right on the post.
So Moses will want to be confident, and Thrifty Reserve is coming at them. Kessam tackled and headed by Royal Creation. From the Planet and Thrifty Reserve are charging at Royal Creation. From the Planet has dropped out of the sky. It's another one to RS Dye.
Let's slow down the action. The horse in the centre is Royal Creation in the yellow and purple, and out wide is Thrifty Reserve in the red and lilac. All three place getters were well ridden, but Shane showed exceptional skills to land his mount the winner. Not only did he show vigour and perfect balance, he also showed plenty of flair and imagination, and more than anything else, the ability to make the right split-second decision. From the Planet was Shane's fourth winner for the day, and the day, of course, was Golden Slipper Day 1991. In the first, he was on West Dancer, paying better than 6-1 on the New South Wales tab. That's him in the grey and red, third on the rail. The horse to beat is Festal with the red cap, now taking the lead and looking the likely winner. But Shane, showing his exceptional flair, which borders on genius, finds a run between horses and gets up on the inside of Festal. At the finish, it's West Dancer and Shane Dye by half a head.
Charging through on the inside of Festal, West Dancer put his head in front near the line and wins at a nose to Festal. The other's chief headhunter.
His second winner was Terse, the 4-1 second favourite in the slipper. It was a different ride from West Dancer, but it was a ride to give his mount every chance. Sitting quietly in the early stages, he had Terse seventh on the turn. That's him in the maroon and yellow going to the outside for an unimpeded run. Canonise in the blinkers and white spotted cap takes the lead, but Shane has timed his finishing run to perfection. Away goes Terse to win by almost a length. And that was Shane's third slipper in a row. Courtser in 89, Canny Lad in 90, and Terse in 91. Compare his other winning rides with his ride on Dr. Grace in the BMW. This was over 2,400, twice the distance of the slipper.
But he finds himself in front at the end of 100 metres. In second place, Shazora. Dr. Grace now moves to second on the outside. Siddiston drops onto the rails fourth and immediately gets off the bit and relaxes. A bit more than two to...
There was no question of restraining his mount back in the field. In the black and white, he takes Dr. Grace straight to the front and dictates the pace. It was a ride reminiscent of George Moore, the best judge of pace I've ever seen.
And the all-conquering Shane Dye has taken Dr. Grace to the lead over the 1800.
On the home turn, Dr. Grace is still the leader. It's here that Shane asks him for a real effort, and he dashes clear of Centro and Shazora.
Citizen and Beedman has to wrestle him across the heels of that horse. At the 300 mark, Dr. Grace again beat off Centro. Little Shazora down the outside might be the danger.
Over the last 200, Shazora challenges strongly, but after his easy run in front, Dr. Grace has enough in reserve to hold her off.
Derby winner, and Dr. Grace leads most of the way to win the BMW. Second, Shazora.
Shane's mount in the last was sail-proof. That's him in yellow and blue beginning a strong run through the field. Native Neptune, ridden a perfect race by the Melbourne jockey Stephen King, has a clear lead. Showing all his skill and vigour, Shane looks certain to win. But Stephen's not to be denied. It's a two-horse and two-jockey war, with both horses responding to the desperate urgings of their riders. A photo finish. Finally, the judge declares for Native Neptune, and Shane Dye has to be satisfied with 4 winners and 1 second for the day. For Stephen King, it was his second winner. Earlier, he'd scored on Durbridge in the Tulloch Stakes.
Siegfried in one stride, and he's racing away to win it easily. He's too good, Durbridge, a great win in the Tulloch. Siegfried...
There were 2 other splendid winning rides that day. One was by Ken Russell on All Mine in the Storm Queen Stakes. Ken had his mount in a winning position all the way. The other was by Mick Dittman on Ricochet Rosie in the Queen of the Turf Stakes. On the rail all the way to the turn, he got a split between runners to win in devastating style.
Rosie trots in, won by more than 2 lengths to Argyle Cut. Tasuti has run third, and then Twiglet, Quicksilver, Cindy, Ice Cream Sunday, Deep Pile Seat.
I have a method of rating jockeys. Under this method, the jockey with the lowest rating is the best. This is because the best jockey gives his mount every possible chance. He's the least possible handicap to a horse. Despite my comments about George Moore and Shane Dye, there's no absolutely perfect jockey. However, there are jockeys who come close. You can study my jockey ratings in my book, Winning More. I suggest you compile your own ratings. Base them on the number of times they ride, the number of wins, the starting prices of their rides, and your evaluation of a jockey's flair, imagination and natural talent. But don't forget that a few apprentices with rare ability will improve very quickly. Darren Gauci was one whose talents I spotted at his first winning ride. Back in 1983, I badly underestimated a jockey and a horse. It was the Melbourne Cup, and I backed Noble Comment at long odds for a small fortune. My second selection was Mr. Jazz, and I'd coupled them both in plenty of quinellas and trifectas. A horse I hadn't backed was the New Zealander Kiwi, ridden by New Zealand jockey Jim Cassidy.
On the outside,
Coming to the turn, Kiwi was last in the field of 24, and apparently conceding an impossible start.
In the field then around the outside came Homemade, followed by Fountain Quarter, and they're bunching right up on the home turn. Many chances now. Mark Bogle is tackling Larkacott down on the inside. Kiyomari is there, and so is Triumphal March, and finishing very fast now down the outside. Mr. Jazz is coming home very hard, and they're followed by Toujours Mio below, so Fountain Court followed further back by Just a Dash. 250 metres left.
200 from home, Noble Comment was contesting the lead with Mr. Jazz, and the dollar signs were exploding like firecrackers in my head.
Noble Comment on the inside, and Mr. Jazz. Noble Comment takes the lead. Kiwi will beat them all. It's come from last. Kiwi's won the Melbourne Cup. A blistering performance. Kiwi coming from second last to beat Noble Comment and Mr. Jazz.
Jim Cassidy certainly knew the ability of his mount. But at that time, I didn't know the ability of Jim Cassidy. Kiwi cost me a fortune. 8 years later, I can still feel the pain. It's a lesson we can all profit from. Know your horse, and certainly know your jockey.